Hello everyone. Actually, I was thinking that if I could do something with the help of this comb and make these spitballs come onto this comb, that is to attract them, but it seems to be useless. It's not working. Can you help me out? Oh, so you are saying that I should rub it with the help of some other material. Okay, I have got this plastic sheet. So you want me to rub it with? Okay. Well, I'm surprised that you won. But it is only possible with this comb. Is there any other way around also? Well, I have a scale and it should work with this thing also. Seems to be that you have found a very fundamental yet beautiful thing in nature. Just have a look at this. These two things, you did that. Well, I've got a problem, and the problem is that while before rubbing this comb with the help of any plastic material, it was not attracting any pith ball or anything like that, and same stands for the scale. But what happened when I rubbed it with the help of this plastic sheet? That means after I rubbed it with the help of this plastic sheet, there came something really very mysterious yet very helpful that made me to catch these pith balls by this comb and the scale. So today in this episode, we shall be looking into the depths of the charges that were developed on this comb and the scale, and why did this happen, how it happens, and what are the basic fundamental things that are there residing in this comb and in this scale after I rubbed it with the help of this plastic sheet. This is what we have got here. These many pith balls were attracted. Look, and they are simply glued to it, just as if I applied some sort of gum or glue to them. Well, this is fine. I got what I wanted to do. But why is it happening? What happened to this comb and this scale after I rubbed it with the help of a plastic sheet? What came in between to help me out and attract these pith balls? Something there is mysterious to us, but we will find it out what it really is. Well, actually what we just saw recently, that I was able to attract pith balls with the help of that comb and that scale after charging it with some sort of plastic material. This is not a new discovery. Actually, this is the nature of electric charge, and it was first discovered by the Greeks. Actually, what happened to them? They started rubbing out the amber with fur, and when they found it that the amber was attracting some bits of matter. Actually, with matter, they said it was some lightweight objects like pith balls and papers and something else. Now then, that what happened? Benjamin Franklin, when he studied these things, he said, I have found out that there are two sort of mysterious forces or the electric charge that we call now, and they have got some different properties. One has got some property that if it's say suppose A, then it was repelling the other A, and if there is some sort of other charge that was B, then A was attracting B. Actually what he meant was that there are two type of charges, positive charges and negative charges. So clearly the positive charges were repelling the positive charges and the positive charges were attracting the negative charges. But now a very feeble question comes in my mind, that if that is there, then where it is? Well, you must be knowing that we have got the basic constituent unit of our life, of human race, or of this universe is the atoms. And in every atom we have got a nucleus which consists of protons and neutrons, and around this atom, it means in this atom around this nucleus there are some electrons that are revolving clearly out of the side. Well, if I want to know that where are these charges, that is the electrons or the positive charges that I call protons, you must be knowing that the basic constituent of our life is the atoms. And in an atom I have got a nucleus which is positively charged, and I have got an electron which is negatively charged. And you must be knowing that electron is always revolving around the nucleus. Benjamin said clearly that these protons have got the positive charge and the electrons have got the negative charge. So he was clearly able to correlate whatever the charges that we experience in our daily life to the basic constituent of the atom or the whole universe. Well, now since we know that there are two types of charges, one is the positive charge and one is the negative charge, and since we have seen that in an atom the positive charges are also there and the negative charges are also there, so then every material or every matter that is around me or in me, just like my hand or this marker or everything, this whole universe has got some amount of positive charge and some amount of negative charge. Then I must be able to classify all those materials around me to just to simply say that they will help the electric charge to pass through them, and they will say no, you are not allowed to pass electric charge through me. That is, there are some conductors and there are some insulators. As what we know that conductors are those materials which allow the electricity to pass through them, and the insulators are the one who resist them. So now we will be studying the insulators in a bit detail, because they hold the key to all this mysterious force that we have seen recently. Actually, what happens in insulators is that we have got an orbit in which the electrons are revolving, and that is there present in each atom. So if I have got an insulator, suppose I had that comb with me or that scale with me, so while I am rubbing that insulator with some sort of material that was available to me, what happens is that since it is not allowing the electric charge to pass through it, so suppose if this is my insulator like this, so if I am rubbing this portion with some sort of material, what happens that the charge remains here in the tip. Suppose if this is my hand, on the tip of my hand only, and since it is not allowing the charge to pass through it, so this whole portion that has been left out is deprived of charges. And this is the main reason why insulators are able to help us in attracting the bits of paper and the pith balls. Reason is crystal clear. Since the passage of charges is not allowed, the charges remain at the point of contact only. Now moving further, we have got some very good examples like wood, plastic, glass, and some sort of cloth materials like nylon or fiber or anything else out there. Means they will help you to attract the bits of paper. After going through the insulators, you might be interested in going through what conductors are, means how they show up the charges that are placed into them while we rub them with some sort of materials. Actually, the conductors, what happens that the electrons can move from one position to another, because since we know that they allow the electric charge to pass through it. And what is electric charge? Simply electrons. So they will simply pass through from one point to another. And due to this, what happens is that whenever I rub some sort of metal, that is a conductor, with any material like plastic or something else that can provide it with some charge, what happens is that if this is the conductor I am having, and if I am rubbing it with some sort of material, so suppose if I have got 5 charges Actually, this is only I'm simplifying the things. If I've got 5 charges, what will happen is that all these 5 charges will try to get redistributed in the whole conductor. Or if I have this tip, from this tip the 5 charges will move to the respective positions in my whole hand. And so whenever I am trying to attract any bit of paper or the pith balls with the help of any metal, it won't show up, because the charge that is required to attract that particular amount of pith balls or paper is not there. It got redistributed. Okay, so you are not agreeing with me this point. Actually, you must not. So let us have an example again, because physics is all about evidences and examples. We have got these pith balls. Our old friends, they will help us out in figuring out what is an insulator and what is a conductor. I have got a comb, clearly an insulator, right? And this spoon, it is a metal. So now what I am going to do is, I am going to rub this comb with this plastic sheet as we have done earlier, and then you will witness the same mystic force with this. Just have a look at them. I rubbed it for a very few seconds, so that's why this happened with it, but they are still intact. Now let me do the same experiment with this spoon. Fingers crossed, it must work. Why it is not working? I rubbed it with the help of this plastic. Oh, sorry, I just forgot. It is a conductor, right? So when I rubbed this tip of this spoon with the help of this plastic sheet, what happened? The charges here got transferred to the whole body, and the amount of charge that was required to attract these bits of paper is not there. So this is a clear distinction between an insulator and a conductor. You can simply say it has got the ability to hold charge at one place, and it attracts the bits of paper and the pitch balls, and it has got the ability to redistribute the charges that are provided to them. And trust me, both of these things have got a wider application in our life that we are going to discuss just right now. Now, since we have done this experiment and found out that there are some insulators and some conductors, that is a comb and a metal, and how they behave when they are brought in contact with some body that can provide them with some charge. Well, actually what it is nothing but the charging by friction. We have rubbed it with the help of some plastic material. The frictional electricity was there, and that's why both of the things, they acquired some sort of charge. Now if I go into detail, I have got some certain amount of the insulators are always there and metals are always there. So how they do find application in our day-to-day life, this we will be discussing shortly. Now we have got the insulators, conductors, how they behave when they are brought in contact with some charges. So this is what we have learned today. We have learned that whenever a body is brought in contact with some other body that is able to provide it with some mysterious force, that is the charge, it will get the tendency to attract the other neutral materials like the pith balls or the bits of paper. We also came to know that what happens to all the materials that are around us, depending upon whether they allow the charge to pass through them or not. That is what happens to the insulators and to the conductors. Now in the coming episodes, we shall be discussing what are the applications of this, how do they really behave when we want to test them. But wait, I have got a homework for you, or some sort of hint I am providing to you. You have to tell me in the next episode that by what property of the metal conductors I can help out to reduce the amount of unwanted electric charge that I can get in any of the electrical appliances. Just make sure you make a very good understanding debate with your parents and then they will surely go give you this answer. Till then, please wander around the world of physics and take care.